Hello and welcome to The Budget Mouse, a podcast that will help you have an incredible Walt Disney World vacation, even if you're on a shoestring budget. I'm Leah, the blogger behind The Budget Mouse and The Frugal South. I visit Disney World several times each year and have tons of tricks for doing Disney on the cheap. I want you to have the incredible vacation you deserve, so I'm sharing all of my tricks with you on my sites and here in the podcast. This week's show is a summary of trip reports from my January trip to Walt Disney World, so let's get to the show. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to episode 29. So I made a quick trip to Disney World this month, and this is a compilation of trip reports from that visit. I also wanted to touch on something I talked about in last week's episode, which was the $1,000 Disney World trip budget. And we had some people ask questions in the Budget Mouse Facebook group about how to book that one night at Disney with the dining plan. And so I did do some digging, and you can actually call Disney and have them add a dining plan to a one-night reservation that you book through the Disney World website. And Sierra can also do that for you, like I mentioned in the last episode. But that is just a way to enjoy the dining plan for 2 days while you're there, get all the benefit of it, and not have to get it for the whole trip, because most people find that it is too much food for their whole trip. And it also is a lot of money. So you can kind of have the best of both worlds that way by having the dining plan for a few days and then paying out of pocket for the other part. You can also always book the room, just a room only stay for your whole 3 nights if you're going for 3 nights, and you don't have to have the dining plan, and you would definitely still stay under your budget. But I just like that little way to add some extra Disney magic to your stay, and that is why I recommended it. So let's get to my trip reports, where I share some of my money saving tips that I used on this recent trip. Hey everyone, I am in Disney World, so I wanted to come to you with a nightly trip report each night of this trip. So I'm mostly here filming video for an upcoming project, and this is Saturday, January 5th. So I arrived in Orlando about 2 p.m. My flight landed, and I did take Magical Express to get to my Disney resort. So that is Disney's complimentary airport transfer bus system. And it took about an hour and 15 minutes to get to the hotel, and that was from the time that my flight landed. And I usually estimate for about an hour and a half on average, and so it was a little bit less than average, which was nice. So I did get a text when I was on the bus that my room was ready, which was great. I am staying at the Boardwalk Inn, and I have mentioned, I believe on a podcast before, how I got this room. So I have been obsessed with Hotwire lately for finding Disney resorts, and it has been such a great source of, sorry, those are fireworks, if you can hear that in the background. I assume Hollywood Studios fireworks here, but wow, they're really loud. And I'm a little obsessed with Hotwire for finding deals on Disney hotels. So I planned this trip at a pretty last minute, and I was able to find what I suspected was either the Boardwalk or Beach Club for $180 plus tax. So it brought it up to about $210, which is very expensive. Okay, but this is one of the few Disney resorts that I have yet to stay at, and I really want to stay at the mall, so I can say that I've stayed at the mall. So that said, I don't think you will ever find a way to stay at the Boardwalk Inn for less than $180 a night. It is, the rack rates are usually, $350 to $400. So I thought it was my chance to stay here, so I grabbed it. Now, I have a full post on the blog about how to find Disney resorts, hidden mystery Disney resorts on Hotwire and Priceline. And I'm using Hotwire more than Priceline now because they're much easier to find, and you're pretty much guaranteed that it will be a Disney resort if you follow the steps. When I say pretty much, no, you are guaranteed that it's a Disney resort if you follow the steps that are in my post. So you just need to go to the Budget Mouse, do a search for Hotwire, and my post will come up that will walk you through how to find Disney resorts on here. And these are only good for about a month in advance. So this would be only if you're planning a last minute trip, and probably only if you're staying a shorter stay. I have gotten 2 nights in a row at another resort, and I've seen them for longer. So anyway, the Boardwalk has been nice. The room is especially nice. I'm kind of infatuated with it, and I did take a video of the room and put it on the Budget Mouse Facebook group, so please join that free private Facebook group if you haven't already. It's just called the Budget Mouse. What I liked most about the room is there's a couch in it, which I have never seen in just a Disney hotel room. They have them in the DVC villas, but I've never seen one in just a standard hotel room. And the couch folds down into a twin bed. So I think it's very smart, and I would love to see it more often. The room has nice Disney touches that aren't in your face Disney, but some hidden nods to Disney and some nice details. And the room is big, and it's been recently remodeled, and I really like it. So I researched my hotel before I came, as I always suggest doing, looking for good room requests. And I learned that I'm in a standard view room. Some of these standard view rooms look out over onto Epcot. You can see illuminations from your balcony. So I requested a theme park view or an Epcot view, and I actually had to call that in and request it that way because Boardwalk is one of the resorts that's no longer accepting room request faxes. So I usually like to fax my room request to the Disney Resort, and I have a post on the Frugal South that is about how to fax your room request in, and there are some that aren't accepting them anymore, and so I've updated that post with the list. Boardwalk is one. So I did get my room request. I'm on the top floor, and my room looks right out over onto Epcot. So illuminations will start soon here tonight, so I'm going to watch it from my balcony, and I have the Eiffel Tower right out it's not right out, it's kind of far, but it's out there off of my balcony. So another successful room request, which is always fun. Though I love this room, I'm not a big fan of the Boardwalk Resort. So I took some time to just walk around today, and I didn't really like it a lot coming in, but I came in with an open mind. I just don't like the pool situation and the dining. There isn't really a food court, and the dining, though there are many dining options on the Boardwalk, I don't find any of them to be that great, except Flying Fish, which is outstanding. However, it's very expensive, and it's going to be a special occasion thing. So I really like it when I stay at a resort if there's affordable, good dining at the resort, and I don't think that Boardwalk has that. So what it does have, though, is proximity to Epcot, and it's walkable also to Hollywood Studios, though it's quite a long walk. I mean, it's a 15 to 20-minute walk, probably more like 20-minute walk to get to Hollywood Studios from here. But you still can walk, or you can take a boat to get to either Epcot or Hollywood Studios from here as well. So I did walk over to Hollywood Studios to do some recording, and I took the boat back and actually stopped off at the Swan and Dolphin, which are two hotels that are close by the Boardwalk here. And my plan was to eat some dinner at one of the restaurants at the Dolphin. And I've eaten at a lot of the restaurants in the Swan and Dolphin. They are excellent for the most part. And I had my eye on the lounge at Blue Zoo. I had heard that it was great for like small bites and just like tapas style and drinks. So I went in, and I did not know that they had a special happy hour menu, and I got the best food for so cheap. I still can't even believe it. So I had crab nachos and fried green beans, and it was enough food for at least two people to eat for dinner. It was so much food. I posted pictures of it already on the Instagram for the Budget Mouse because I was so impressed. They also had cocktails on special. Their Zoo Berry signature cocktail. So the cocktail was $7, which is dirt cheap for Disney World. The crab nachos were $9, and the green beans were $5. So I ate for $21. That was including my drink, and I left half of the food, and it was excellent. So hidden gem at Disney World, definitely. The only issue with the Dolphin, I will say, is parking there is tricky. So they do charge to park there. If you're driving from another Disney resort, it's very expensive to park. It was $20 or $25. So don't do that. Instead, you can always park at Hollywood Studios and take the boat over there. You could take a bus to Hollywood Studios and take the boat from there, or you may sometimes be able to park at these neighboring Disney resorts that don't charge to park, Beach Club, Yacht Club, or Boardwalk, though they are getting more strict about not allowing you in here unless you have a dining reservation. So that one is hit or miss. But find some way to not pay for parking and come to the Bluesy Lounge. So that's about it for today. I am headed to a couple of parks tomorrow to do some filming, and then I'm switching resorts. So I will tell you more about that tomorrow. Food at the Starbucks, the Main Street Bakery there, and so I wanted to do that and get some nice video clips. And I also had a special treat. I got to ride in one of the old-timey cars that drive up and down Main Street USA in the morning. And I was just standing there eating my breakfast, and I saw the cars go past. And I thought, I've never done that before. I think I'm going to try. And I said to some woman who was standing there talking to me, I think I'm going to try and ride on those. And she said, make your dream come true. So I went back up to the kind of the top of Main Street USA, and the car was just parked right there. I went up to the gal, I was like, can I have a ride? She said, sure, hop in. So I got my ride down Main Street USA. It was very cool, actually. So I recommend doing that. If you get to the park early and you're looking for something fun to do, that was really fun. So I saw the castle opening show, which starts 5 minutes before the park opens, and it was really cute. I mean, it was nothing compared to the old opening show that used to take place in front of the park up on the train station. But I did really like that you could hang out on Main Street USA and didn't feel like you were missing any attractions or anything. It was really nice and kind of a leisurely pace to start in the morning. And I did like the new opening show. So I was front and center in front of the castle, and what that meant was that I was not lining up to go as soon as they dropped the ropes to go back into one of the lands, which meant I was kind of back in the pack, which was fine because I didn't really have an agenda. But what that meant was that when I got to Peter Pan's flight, which I wanted to go on first, there was already a 15 to 20 minute wait. And I was there, first thing in the morning. So if you're trying to get to an attraction first thing that you don't have a fast pass for, you really have to be in line at the most strategic spot. Now, this was a very busy day. I have to say the crowds overall were tremendous today. I mean, I'd say probably an 8 out of 10. And I assume this is because people are still off of work and school from the holidays because of how New Year's and Christmas fell on a Tuesday this year. So I expect tomorrow that the crowds will drop off quite a bit as people go back to school and work. But today it was very crowded, like holiday crowds almost. So I decided not to wait in line for Peter Pan's flight in the morning, and I went and did a few other attractions instead. So I did Big Thunder Mountain Railroad and Pirates of the Caribbean and Voyage of the Little Mermaid, and I rode the People Mover this morning. So this was all at Magic Kingdom on a very crowded day without fast passes. So those were all rides that were 10 minutes or less wait in the first few hours the park were open, and I was really taking my time. I was not rushing. I was stopping to take a lot of video, and I stopped to eat way too much of a Nutella fruit and waffle sandwich thing from Sleepy Hollow. I had never had one, and they look so good in pictures. So I made the mistake of ordering one by myself, and I ate way too much of it. I felt bad afterwards. So only order if A, you have self-control, or B, someone's with you to help you eat it because it's too much sugar. Anyway, I switched over to Epcot after that at about noon, I believe, and it took me 30 minutes to get to Epcot on the monorail. So you do have to switch monorails. You have to take the monorail over to Transportation and Ticket Center, or you could take the ferry boat over if you wanted to, and then you have to take the Epcot monorail over to Epcot. So it took me 30 minutes, which I didn't think was too bad, really, all things considered. And I did a few things at Epcot, and nothing really that I wanted to mention there. Except that I had some, unfortunately, way too salty Mongolian beef at Sunshine Seasons, which is normally one of my go-to quick service places. But I was hungry. It was in the afternoon, so I ordered that to give it a try, and it was barely edible. It was so salty. So I don't know. I hope it was just a fluke and that Sunshine Seasons continues to be a go-to quick service place. But I then went over to Oh, I rode Soarin' and Spaceship Earth with fast passes because I cannot go to Epcot and not go on Soarin'. It was spectacular. And I met a really nice lady in line, and I felt bad I didn't ask her name, but I hope she ends up listening. And it was really nice to meet you. So I then took the bus over to Animal Kingdom, which was also very easy. This was a great transportation day for Disney transportation. I just kind of walked right up and hopped on the bus, and I was there in 10 minutes. So at Epcot, I wanted to see Festival of the Lion King, which I hadn't seen in a long time, and take some video around there. It was packed. It was the most crowded I've ever seen it at Animal Kingdom. It was hard to even walk through Asia section getting over to Expedition Everest, but oh my god, I'm used to Animal Kingdom being far less crowded. So I did make it over to Festival of the Lion King. It was excellent, and then I met up with a friend, and we had plans to get dinner at Satuli Canteen, which is a quick service restaurant in Pandora, part of Animal Kingdom. And I had been there once when it first opened, but I hadn't been there since, and I loved it. And I wanted to get more food and pictures for the blog because I want to write up a review of it on the blog. Well, we got a little waylaid in having a drink at Nomad Lounge, which is connected to Tiffin's, which is a signature restaurant at Animal Kingdom that's, I don't know, I think 3 years old now. But we both had great cocktails there, and that was a special treat at Nomad Lounge. Highly recommended for drinks, and they had small plates as well. Then we had the most awesome dinner at Satuli Canteen, so I can't wait to show pictures. I think I've already shared some in my Instagram story for the Budget Mouse today because of how excited I was about the food. It was great. We did catch part of Rivers of Light, which is the nighttime show at Animal Kingdom, and I have seen it before with a fast pass and had great seats, and I really enjoyed the show. It's not everyone's favorite, but I personally like it a lot, and I am an animal lover, so that might have something to do with it. This time we tried to watch it from kind of the side where we were just standing kind of on the path that leads into Asia. And we weren't able to see much of the show at all because of how it is projected onto the water screens. And Kristen has not seen it before. And I was like, you're really not seeing much of the show. You really can't see the majority of the show from that angle. So that is a good thing to note, that if you plan on getting there at the last minute, you really want to be where the main viewing area is located to see the show. You can see it standing up from back there, but you just can't be off to the side like we were because you can't see the projections on the water screens. So I then headed, very exhausted, to All Star Sports, where I am staying for one night. This was another Hotwire deal, and this one was crazy good. I think $54 for this night at All Star Sports plus tax. So it was a great deal. Again, if you're just listening to this and aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, you can find great deals on Disney resorts on Hotwire, and there's a post on the Budget Mouse about it. Just search for Hotwire, it will come up. So this is about probably all I would pay to stay at All Star Sports at this point. It's kind of rough. The rooms are a little raggedy. They're waiting on a renovation that will likely begin in fall of this year. They're moving on to All-Star Music next, and I think they're about ready to wrap up at All-Star Movies unless they hit some major snag in the renovations. But from what it was looking like, they should be wrapping up this month or next at All-Star Movies. So, it's just kind of old, and it's always been one of my least favorite resorts, but I would say it really is now. It's just kind of worn, and I don't really like the theming. It's the least favorite of the value resorts for me, and particularly so now because several others have been remodeled. But for $54 a night to stay on Disney property, I will take it. So I'm taking Magical Express to the airport tomorrow and going back home from this quick trip. But I hope you learned something valuable from my experience on this trip and some ways to save money and have a great Disney vacation. So thanks for listening. Hey, it's me again with one more thought on this trip. It's the morning now. I'm getting ready to fly home. I feel like I gave All Star Sports a bad rap, and I just need to share some of the details of my stay here. So it is really a great resort. I was walking around the grounds this morning, and the theming, though it's not to my taste, it's really fun. And I think any kid that is into sports in any way would get a big kick out of it. And it is so geared towards kids. And that's something I really love about the all-star resorts in general, and makes them one of my top picks for families with kids coming to Disney World. I did have excellent service while I was here as well. So I had my bag transferred from the Boardwalk to All-Star Sports yesterday while I was at the parks. So this is a wonderful feature at Disney World, that they will transfer bags within Disney World for you. So I just took my bag down to the Bell Services desk at the Boardwalk yesterday at like 7 a.m. and asked if they could transfer it. And they will tag it for you and give you a little receipt. And I always tip, somewhere between $3 and $5 a bag for handling that. And then they send it over, and it won't arrive until the afternoon, which didn't make a difference to me because I was going to be at the parks all day. So when I arrived here, I went to the Bell Services desk here and was going to give them my ticket to pick up my bag, and they had already delivered it to my room, which was a really nice touch. I've had that happen a few times, but most of the time I'll have to go and fetch the bag myself. Or you can go straight to your room and call and have them deliver it to your room, and again, be ready to tip for your bag. So that was really nice. They didn't have to do that, and they did. Also, when I got here, I did not have the Magical Express paperwork for today, essentially, on my door, which I know it's tricky with a one-night stay. They really don't have a good time frame to deliver it. So I just called down to the front desk and said, hey, I don't have my paper. And he said, oh, I'm pulling it up right now. I'm going to get a runner to send it to your room. And I was like, oh, great. So sometimes that takes a long time at Disney resorts because they're huge, and there's so many people that stay here. So I was expecting a long wait, and I was getting ready for bed. But within 10 minutes, it was here. A friendly young man just knocked on the door, said, here's your paperwork. So I was really pleased with the service at All-Star Sports. And I have to say, comparing the price point to off-property resorts, I feel like you get so much more for your money when you stay here compared to $100 a night off-property resort, just in terms of the atmosphere and the magic and the service. And you're not going to get that off property for sure. Now, I only paid $50 some a night to stay here because I got a crazy good deal on Hotwire. And I was just checking Hotwire because I'm a little obsessed for the end of January, and I saw 3 nights in a row here at All-Star Sports, what I suspect to be All-Star Sports. It's definitely an All-Star resort, and this generally has the lowest capacity. So it's low, lowest occupancy. So I figure it is there. But I think it was $49 a night on average for a 3-night stay. So if you're looking for a getaway, a fun resort with kids, I think this is a great bet. So that's it. And look for these 3 reports compiled into one on the podcast soon.